Hello everyone, it's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Why get in the building?
Yo. Good
Yeah, my name, my
morning,
plan
good
is
morning.
pink. Touch of pink.
Your red kind
red,
of rhymes and
How you doing,
so we're
YK?
like all on the same flight.
Yes, we are. How are you doing, YK?
I'm fine. I want to rant this morning. I was supposed to rant on Tuesday and I forgot. I saw an Okada on that Lekki Road, that bridge, the footbridge.
Okay.
Instead of him going round to turn, he climbed up the bridge with his bike to cross over. And you know, this is for people who are walking. And it just brings me back to, you see, we all complain about the government. I am one of the ones that will complain about the government. But if we don't pull our own weight, and it just shows me that if that Okada man becomes president today, he will do exactly what this government is doing.
Exactly.
Because another thing, lucky people, they're supposed to be highbrow. They're the people that will become president in future.
Yeah, but he's not the guy that is riding the bike now. Or is he a proper...
No, this is not the guy riding the bike. Now I'm talking about lucky people.
Okay, what happened?
I was coming this morning, every morning when I'm coming across, because I've been coming from my partner's house for the past 2 weeks.
Right.
If I'm coming across the bridge, the bridge, there are people that run, jog, they want to lose weight.
Right.
They have built
a
walkway for you to run. It's on the road that they decide to run. It is on these are the future leaders of tomorrow, because the lucky people are the highbrow, sophisticated people. They are running on the road. There is pavement.
Yeah.
We complain when government doesn't build pavement for. They build pavement for you now. You are running on the road. So if I jam you now, I will be the one.
Yes, they will arrest you.
And then I see a trailer. Sorry, I'm ranting. Still on this bridge. As I come off the bridge, a trailer is reversing. He has no lights at the back.
And
it was dark. It was dark. You know, he was reversing. He was reversing on the main road.
Without lights?
Without lights.
Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He can go to prison for that out of the country.
I'm telling you.
In a different country, you can
I'm telling you. So I just wanted to rant this morning.
So YK, I think you need to get a driver to assist you.
It's not a driver.
It's not driver matter. You. So no, even if
I will still see it. And I'm even happy that I'm driving myself right now, because I'm seeing these things, and there's so much we need to change.
A lot we need to change.
Let me run to New York, because I have to run now. YK has ranted for this.
I don't even have anything to say. It's just that I'm shocked at the Okada climbing bridge.
Because
it's a norm in some parts of Lagos.
Yes. It's a norm.
You shift for themselves.
We have to run.
So
he run me. He run me.
YK, you need to get out more.
It's normal.
We need our enforcement people to do the right thing. They know they do.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the Nation today. Nation. Zulum. Governors await Buhari's response on attack. That's the governor of Borno State. Ipman okays 150 naira per litre. PTF. States not enforcing COVID-19 protocols. Agbakoba. Quakers differ on China loan sovereignty clause. Lagos reviews land use charge rates, and Beirut blast death toll reaches 135. All right, which story? I was actually interested in the story about this our sovereignty clause in the Chinese loan, and I know that Agbakoba was saying very clearly that obviously there's a lot of confusion in the air concerning this clause. He is saying that there's actually nothing wrong. That the only error he saw was that they should have actually named it a waiver of immunity clause, not a sovereign immunity clause, and that's where the confusion is. That there's nothing wrong in where it's like you give an example, or how if you're a governor and you go to a bank and ask for a loan, and then you now say, because they not come back to ask you for that loan, you now try to invoke your immunity, And they say in this contract, though, you cannot invoke your immunity. You are going to be held liable if you default. That's pretty much what, according to Agbakugba. But others have said that they've not read the entire law, but from what they are seeing, that it looks as if we have seceded our sovereignty to China, and they have the upper hand in this contract. So it's still being deliberated upon.
They do have the upper hand, because on Monday when I took the story of how we pay, in fact, for every amount that we pay back, the interest is triple or double the amount, and that worried me in the papers. I couldn't get to that story. They do have the upper hand already, and we are paying, but it seems like with the interest being paid, there was an amount of 195, and the interest was over 290 something. That was paid on the amount, and I was wondering if per time we have to find double this amount to pay off the debt per installment. How can we even finish paying?
Well, the thing is that we don't have a very good credit rating.
I think our negotiators on our own side now should start to do the right thing.
No, it's not about that. That's what they're saying.
To get the best, most friendliest kind of loans that we need. Yes, we need loans to grow to do certain projects, but we need to find the best.
Based on what
like the one that the Minister for Works is using for the roads in Nigeria, which is the.
Based on our own precedents, other countries, when they get loans, they pay back. We've had a track record of not paying back, of defaulting on our contracts. So a country like China would definitely want to cover their back. It's not so much about.
I disagree on us not paying back. I think we pay back.
We have issues. We go back on our contracts.
We were buried under the interest in the Obasanjo's time that we got those waivers. It wasn't that we're not paying. We're almost buried with the interest, and it's the same thing happening now again. China is not doing us any favors.
Okay, moving on now to the Punch.
Interest.
High debt profile. Stop borrowing. Tackle mass killings. #revolution now tells Buhari. Septuagenarian guard dies after attack by Lagos driver. Female soldier raped by bandits appeals dismissal. Lagos slashes land use charge waives 5.7 billion naira fees. Oyo vows to recover 96 billion naira stolen under Ajimobi. Marginalization, Yakasai backs return to parliamentary system. Okay, which story are we taking here?
So this female soldier.
I wanted to take the. You can take the female, soldier, the septuagenarian.
Yes.
He had in front of his place of work a cook club in Surulere. He had seen this taxi driver quarreling with two ladies. He came out to stop them from fighting, and the taxi driver was annoyed because the lady said that the guy was driving carelessly, so he should drop them. He dropped them, and he wanted to take his full 150. They said no, they will pay 100 naira. So in that argument, he came to start to pay, stop fighting, stop fighting. The taxi driver got annoyed, punched him, he fell to the ground. They rushed him to hospitals. Hospitals rejected him. He died on the Monday. This happened on the 20th of July, and he died on the Monday. Police have arrested him through the help of the ladies because they knew him, the park he came from.
All right, thank you, YK. We're hearing reports now. We have breaking news. There's a crisis rocking the Edo State House of Assembly that's taken a whole new dimension this morning. Police stormed the House of Assembly complex in Benin City, while patrol vehicles have also been stationed there. This is probably connected to the impeachment of the State Assembly's Deputy Speaker on Wednesday. We have our correspondent right now who's going to be giving us real-time. Theophilus, are you there? Theo.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning. Tell us what's going on right there in Benin City.
Okay, right now I'm in the front of the House of Assembly complex, and we see a lot of security operatives right here at Ring Road axis of the complex, where it's beyond usual, beyond the normal, and a lot of people are wondering why. That I've had to ask questions, and from what we hear, the other members of the House of Assembly, it's a rumor actually, who were not inaugurated before, trying to gain access into the assembly to impeach the governor. That is one of the rumors we have heard, and of course it's also not unconnected with the impeachment of the deputy speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, which happened yesterday. And so from what we have seen here, a lot of security operatives are standing by here, possibly to avert any altercation or any other crisis that might occur as a result of the proceedings that will happen here.
Have you seen any Lawmakers so far, have you seen anybody in House of Assembly, or is just the security operatives you've seen?
Well, some minutes ago, the Speaker of the House walked in along with his aides and security men. And so far, if you're looking at the gate, no one is allowed to go in and no one is allowed to come out for now. Everyone is just made to stay outside, including journalists who are here to witness the situation at this point.
Okay, Theophilus, can you explain the parked tankers around the premises? The tankers parked around the premises, can you
Can I get a
explain
question again?
whether it's a coincidence?
The parked tankers.
You said there are parked tankers around there. Is that correct? Could you confirm that?
I didn't get a question. Please, can you repeat it?
Theophilus, Nima was asking about parked tankers around there. Can you confirm? We're here getting reports earlier that there are parked tankers around the House of Assembly. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. It's just the police van. Let me just give you a preview of what's happening. Looking behind me, you see police vehicles all around here. Tankers are not here. That's armored tankers. They are not here yet. I do not know if that will come in, but they are not here yet. Also, I tried to speak with a policeman who became my friend in the course of the discussion, and he was telling me that they were just supposed to come here. They are not even aware of what's happening as well. But from the information I gave is based on the rumors that some journalists are here, have been hearing right here. But right now, there are no tankers here. Ring Road is quite agog at this point because of the situation here. But there are no tankers, and so far, the whole place is peaceful.
Okay, so we'll keep our viewers updated as you get any more development. Let us know as soon as anything happens. Please call in and let us have information on what's going on there. Thank you very much, Theophilus, for joining us from Benin City. Okay, it's going back to the papers. I mean, I don't understand. What are the charges? What's going on? We're not even clear. Sometimes you just wonder what happens in this country.
I just advise the Edo people to not be grasses under this fighting elephants.
Okay.
So you were going to take the story of the soldier.
Yes, this female
because that was
soldier.
a terrible story.
Yes.
Yes, very painful one. So this female soldier had been sexually harassed. In fact, she was raped in 2014 on her way to Ogbomosho, and she had taken a pass from her, what they call their own group in the military for that journey. So on her way, her boss was attacked. She was raped by 5 men. She was admitted in the Ladoke Akintola Hospital, treated, and only for her to get home after 12 weeks and found that she was pregnant. And on that basis of the pregnancy, she suffered a dismissal now. Which
Can you imagine?
So I wondered who were the panel members, the marshal members who looked into the grounds for the dismissal. Why are they not taking into...
this is the cause we need to really push.
Something serious. Something
Totally
serious.
wrong.
She declined speaking because she believes her lawyers will do the right thing. But I didn't even expect that it would get to this point because, proper investigation should be done.
And because she doesn't want to come out, she's still hoping they will reinstate her. Her name is not there, so we can't even really...
Yes, identify her.
Yeah, and I think it's such a terrible, terrible story.
Right. We have to run, but let's just try to squeeze in one last paper. The Nigerian Tribune. Revolution now. Security men clamp down on protesters in Abuja, Lagos, Osun, and Ogun. Nigeria spends 791.5 billion on debt servicing and 139 billion on capital projects in 3 months. Lots of other stories. Let's take the major headline.
Okay, so
Revolution
Now, yes. 1 year after the initial Revolution Now protest, decided to do a protest yesterday, and the police got wind of it. And in all the states where the protest was attempted, in Lagos, Abuja, Ondo, and every other state, they clamped down on the protesters and, arrested some of them. In Lagos, Ragbajalingo and some other people were arrested. They were all later released. They were said to have been arraigned before a mobile court, while they were released one because the mobile court didn't sit. But, and the government is saying, no, they were not arrested based on the protest. They were arrested for flouting the COVID-19 regulations, which...
That's the excuse.
Yeah.
Let
me just use the opportunity to mention the leader of the protest, Mr. Pelumi Olajengbesi, maintain that the group's demand bordered on, their demand is that there is a need for us to have conscious political revolution, a need for people to have clear focus and interest, and people should not just feel comfortable that the time is now for
Especially
change.
because of the facts of the protest. So they're protesting the insecurity in the country. We've been shouting that the president should reshuffle the service chiefs, which he has refused to do. And people have continually died beyond the numbers that we are fighting with the COVID.
Exactly.
People are still dying.
Because even in the nation, the governors are complaining about insecurity.
Yes.
You know, they've even written a letter.
That's all we can take on Front Page. When we come back, we'll discuss our topics for today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's Thursday and we like to discuss family issues. So a video went viral about a man who was seen accusing his partner of infidelity. According to him, he was seen accusing of lying about the paternity of their daughter for over 3 years by showing her a DNA test result he conducted behind her back. Now, we've since found out that the entire skit was staged, obviously, so it's not real. But either way, it's important for us to have that conversation because we have to ask the right question. How would you feel if your spouse conducted a DNA test on without your being aware for your children? Would you feel like it's disrespectful, or would you understand that it was necessary? Please join the conversation. Call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so as I said, the characters in the video have said that, listen, this was just staged, which we understand, but it never...
They're good actors.
They're good actors, yes. But the thing is, it's important for us to also bring back these kinds of issues because we've discussed it on this show a few times too, that yes, you have a child who you have birthed for somebody else, but you're not bringing it into your home, your new home, without your husband's knowledge. And he has fallen in love with the child. You know, he's been a father to that child. And then 3, 5 years, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, he finds out. In this case, he went to do a DNA behind your back. Now, do you think it was wrong for him to do that, or at least to carry her along, or to tell her about his own suspicions, not just go and do it behind her back? Do you think that was right for him to? Let me come start with Nima.
Okay. It's do me, I do you kind of arrangement, Sha. You do secret, so he did secret back. I don't think you should be offended. You placed someone else's child on him. He did not tell you to help him out, because some women will now come with the defense of, I thought you were infertile, so I'm doing it to cover our face. Madam, don't cover any shame. If you do secret, he does a DNA in secret. I think too gay for Ojoro Council, that kind of thing. But once you know, my own is that once you know that your child is not the child of your husband, please don't even try to do anything. What he does is that, like I always emphasize, that sanctity of home, the sanctity of blood ties, the sanctity of marriage, you have violated it in every way. You've disturbed the balance of that child in every way. And your actions will not be visited, the consequence of your action will not be visited on that child in the future. It's
okay, let me punch a hole in that a bit, because we've seen today's times. There are two arguments here. Number one, yes, she was wrong, 100%. Everybody agrees. You're wrong to give another man's child to somebody else. We get that. But now you've fathered this child for a long time. You've watched this child grow. He or she calls you father, calls you daddy, loves you, fall in love with the child. Is it right? Can you just dissociate yourself totally from this child and say, you know what, I'm done, carry her back to her father? Is that not an emotional trauma in itself? And is that something any man is willing to go through? That's one. Right, would you like to respond to that? Do you think it's wrong for a man to just say, okay, if now that I know that you're not my daughter, my son,
I think any reaction the man takes is totally justified. If he decides to hold the baby and love him more, he's justified. If he decides to drive them out of his house, he's justified, because there is nothing like that kind of betrayal. That is where, because when I say it here that if a man cheats, yeah, we're saying he's cheating, we don't like it. When a woman cheats, She is the receiver. She is the one that can get pregnant. The man cannot get pregnant. And you go and give another man's child. You look at the lives you have affected. You have affected your own. You have affected the man. And you have affected the poor child that you have brought to this world under deception. No justification. And me, if I were the man, it's that minute, go.
A child that you raised.
Minutes. You cannot know how you will react on that hurt.
Let me even try and answer more.
You cannot know. Look, okay, emotions. What if that child grew up to be 20? I sent you one. I think I sent it to the group. One where the man.
Yes. He wanted to travel to US, right?
Then he wanted to bring his whole family. Then they said he has to do DNA. All his siblings, the DNA was wrong. All of them. Him with the father too, wrong.
So the mother obviously, so in that kind of situation, yes.
What is that? Do you know the psychological problem on that man?
In the today's times, and I'll come to you, Nima, in today's times where, listen, I am not in any way advocating for certain types of marriages that we're seeing today, but there's little emphasis on blood ties today. In this 21st century we have, you don't have to necessarily be blood connected to somebody to live as a family. So you're having same sex marriages where they're adopting children. So the role of family has been redefined in today's times. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that must you have a bloodline to call yourself family? Must that be that what constitutes that family? That's the question.
You see that emotional argument can go anywhere. So what if you've raised the child, you love the child, and the child keeps looking at you and thinking, I want to see my biological father, even if he's mad. Because that one, I have seen. That even if he's mad, running naked, I want to see him. And then the moment the child sees that father, there's a connection and the child is looking at you like the stranger and you are thinking, all my 20 years investment, I sent you to school. These are things that you really have no control over. I believe that let things happen naturally. You can still love the child, but let the child go to their father. Let the child insist on being with you. If it is easy for you, love the child. Love is a separate thing from issues of paternity and claiming. They're two separate things. If you insist on keeping that child and the child insists on going the other way, what will be your investment?
But let's not be judgmental.
No, we're not being judgmental.
Let me paint it. Let me paint a scenario for you. I know somebody who was married for a very, very long time. She had no child. And she kept thinking she was a problem. But she never knew it was actually her husband. Now, she went out, got pregnant. Or just one time, was a mistake, was like something that happened when she traveled. It just happened, and then she got pregnant. Now, she wasn't going to abort that child for anybody because she'd been married, I think it was maybe 11 years or so, and there was no child between them. Now, she has a child, she was pregnant. Nothing in heaven and on earth was going to make her abort that child.
I agree.
Now, the father, the husband at the time, he knew his problem, but he just kept quiet and took the child, and they did ICOMO, they did everything. Now, if that child then grows up 20, 25 years later, and somehow he now finds out that, this man is not my real father, do you think that's deception? Would you still call that deceit?
Yes. On both sides. Husband deceiving her, she's still deceiving him.
Both
of them deceivers.
Both of them, mother and father.
Deception people. Because you see, she could get pregnant not knowing the state of her husband. But the proper thing to do is, the moment you have done away, please, don't even disclose. Just ask for divorce honorably. Why do you want to divorce me? Madam, please, I need to. I need me. I will be going.
Just disclose.
I will not disclose.
No.
If it was me, I will not disclose. I will just be going.
You just carry your...
As in, forward movement.
That's why I disagree with you, Nima.
No,
if I go and buy away match and I get pregnant, I will first go and meet him and say, Oga, you are the real problem in my life.
No.
I will go and meet him. No. That, you are the real problem in my life because this is what has happened now. So you are the one. There's sorrow.
So that people will not arrange and stay together.
So why didn't you talk? Then you will now tell me, cover for me. It's a different thing.
I cannot give somebody else's child to another person.
It's not giving another person's child to another person. This is what happened. The real father too can know that, but I'm staying with my husband, with my child.
Right.
You people
So
will have paternity.
no!
Go ask them as Ministry of Social Welfare. You people they will shake you people.
How?
You see that father, let him let him be a nonsense man. Somebody that is a drunk, that does not have any future. He will shake that house for that child. I'm telling you. Lazy man, they can take his wife. It's the child that is the problem. No, but he will never leave that child. I say just be going. Once you see that you have done something, just be. Okay.
Let me
take this call.
On your way out, the man begs you, please stay.
When you know what
Let
is
me
in
take
your
this call
mind.
from Kaduna. Hang in there, please.
Don't
Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there?
Good morning.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
Thanks. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
All right. Okay. I think it's...
So you're listening to TV. Listen to me on the phone, please. Go ahead, please. We have to lose that call. Because when you call in, listen to the phone, not the TV. It's about 5 or few minutes, seconds delayed, so you're not going to get that same response. Let's take a few states, YK. On this matter. Okay, let me paint another scenario. Let me paint another scenario after this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So there are many angles to this story, but let me take this caller from Warri. Anne, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Yes. I think that doing a DNA test without your wife's consent is deceit on the man's part.
Okay.
And also, if you don't trust your wife, I think you should have conversations with her.
Exactly.
But on the other angle of where you have raised a child for like 20 years and 30 years, and say you have no ties, I don't think that's correct.
Thank you very much.
When the result
Anne.
comes in negative and the child is not yours, does the end justify the means?
I mean, I think that's a valid question.
Yes.
So, in that situation where she's talking about trust, was it right for him to go behind her back?
So,
Because if indeed the results came negative, as you said, and then she finds out that you actually had the audacity to go and do a DNA test behind my back. What do you take me for? You take me for...
She does not have mouth to talk again.
Why can't she talk?
Buy it.
Because
if you're in a good marriage, everything is fine, and you just wake up one morning and think, let me take my children for DNA. The wife can question that. Are you questioning my
fidelity?
Chastity? My fidelity in this marriage? That she can be offended. But when the result don't come, and he has proven the man suspicion
No.
I don't think
there are two things, Dima. Let's talk about the results came and it's negative. I want us to talk about that. Is it right? The children are his.
Okay, that's positive.
Positive. The children are his. The point is that was it right at all for him to do it behind her back?
You see?
That's totally
let me tell you something. I've had a child before.
Yes.
And if my husband at that time had wanted to do DNA, I would happily.
Why?
Happily. Just because if you're having if you're having any doubt in that cockroach mind of yours, go and do it. Go and do it.
So you won't feel offended?
I will not be offended. I will not, because let me tell you, too many men have taken children. Okay, do you know what? My brother had to, because my brother is a British, has a British
passport.
citizenship, he can get for his children. When he went to the embassy, they said they must do DNA for all his children. If he wants, can you imagine if one had come out? So all this time he has been saying, they are his children, and then they do the test, and then one is not his own. What will happen? And he has been bringing them up because now an outsider wanted to do the test. Luckily for him, he had done his own DNA long ago, so he knew who they were his own. Even the British embassy, they were shocked. All these children, they are your own. Because they have been doing it. American embassy, British embassy, they have been doing it to a lot of Nigerians, and they're coming out negative.
Let me take this call.
I said, look at that case I told you about, when his child is 11. If he's listening to the show now, he will know I'm talking about him. His child is 11. He went to do DNA, and the child is not. And the mother has been giving him stress. The mother of the child has been giving him stress. Go, say, let me even do DNA for the child. And he did it secretly, true. Okay, now, I said, okay, let me help you. Both of you go and do. The woman has refused. She has refused to do DNA. But she went to go and tell the child, your father thinks I'm not your own, you are not my own. So the child that is, you know,
creating.
So they behave without integrity.
Let me take this call. Good morning, are you there?
I'm still there.
Go ahead, please, you're live.
Good morning. This is Casey calling from Cement.
Good morning, thank you.
Yes, this is my first time calling. Though.
Welcome to the show, Jesse.
This is Nima. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's normal thing for the husband to make a DNA. It's not something strange, really. Because he's just trying to play smart, play safe, sorry. I don't think the woman should just take it personal. I don't know. Doing it behind her or something. He just needs to be sure. That's just it. Simple.
Why does he feel the need to be sure?
Exactly.
Okay. Let me.
Is there a
for
problem?
instance, I've seen at least 2 married women. At least each of them has 3 kids with their husband, and now they are planning on going on extra, cheating on, trying to cheat. I still have to sit them down, tell them some stories, share some view with them, and so on. And they have to come.
There must be underlying
they
problem.
back to the husband now, and they're living perfectly now. There are some kind of, just in recent time, we've been seeing some married women trying to go out with just younger guy. It's happening. The rate is even getting much now.
Okay, all right. So, I know that a lot of women like me will feel really hurt, and I'll feel betrayed.
All your children look like your husband. They don't even look like
Don't
you.
need DNA.
So there's no need for DNA.
No, but I will feel
all your children look like your
mother.
husband. When the child will not come out looking like you, will not come out looking like your husband. You said I shouldn't be suspicious.
I will feel betrayed if anybody tries that with me, totally, completely, because I would rather a conversation. Confront me. We are 2 adults here. If you suspect anything, let's have a conversation. That's what civilized people do. You don't go behind my back and go and take a DNA test. On what basis? What do you take me for? That for me.
You know, these Yoruba movies, they can have very, very nice background. So in one of those movies, the guy's first girlfriend comes and says, I'm pregnant, and he believes he has a child. The second one did the same thing. The third one, and then maybe on the 4th one, he finds out that he's infertile. So he starts to think that all the people that have been bringing baby in the past, what happened? And so he did not tell the wife that is at home that I want to do DNA. He just picks up the child and goes for DNA, and that was negative. It's his own self that he's not suspecting her now, he's suspecting himself. He has problem. Do you understand? And he finds out that child is not his, so he starts to try to do DNA.
That sounds like Nollywood, obviously.
No, it's Nollywood, but then these are things that
Let me take Yakub. Yakub, are you there? Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. This is Tanima. Good morning. Good morning. Morayo, I will go with you this morning. I'm a man, and then I think if I really want to do something like that, we need to have that conversation. And then in the process of having that conversation, if I find out that my woman was trying to disagree with me or carry out that DNA, I will not begin to think otherwise, that, okay, this woman is like a hack, she has something that is keeping for me. Then I cannot go at back. But without not having that conversation, and then I go on to do DNA, okay, the question is this, Morayo, what about if the result come out and then it is positive, that all the children are mine, and then I let her know that I carry out this DNA at your back, how do you want the woman to feel? If I will be the woman, that is to tell me that there is no any trust in that marriage again. I will take my leave. Because you do that at my back.
Right.
You don't let me know. If you let me know, and then in the process of this telling me, and then as a woman, I'm beginning to tell you some certain things that you don't need it. Why do you want to do this? This, you begin to say that.
Yakub, can I ask you a question?
There's a problem here. How could you not let me do what I want to do? If
Okay,
you really
Yakub,
know that all these children are mine, you should allow me to. Both of us can you go there to carry out the DNA? But if you are telling me otherwise, I will be thinking
okay,
twice.
all right, point it. Go ahead,
Yakub, can I ask you a question?
Go on, man.
If you ask your wife to do DNA and she says no, or your woman or whoever, I want to do DNA, and she says no. And then you go behind her and do the DNA. And then it comes out, the results come out. She will still feel betrayed now.
Any which way.
Any which way you do, because she has said she's not doing DNA, so you took them secretly. She will still feel betrayed.
But for me, I've already told her. Do you get it? Because if she said I shouldn't go on, and then I later does that, I've already let her know that this is what I want to do.
Okay.
So even if she feel betrayed, it
All
will
right.
be minimized. I can be able to pass.
Thank you. You're very right. Okay, so let's take a few tweets.
Okay, Nifemi Ajike Farida says, nothing wrong with having a family without bloodlines. Adoption, blended families are all great. The problem with this is the deception. It's up to the man to decide whatever his choice is will be valid. Isaac Tile Nenje says, DNA without your wife's consent is very bad because anything that you are to do in your family, your wife must be aware of it. It's very important to carry her along in anything you do if you really love your wife.
Let me ask this question, YK. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to Leke says, why do I need her consent to confirm my fears? I owe her no apologies at all if my fears are confirmed to be true, or if it's the other way around, I won't let her know.
We've heard that emotions are very strong. And in some cases, some of us are in relationships where you don't really care about your spouse or you're just there for several reasons. But there's some people that are actually in real love relationships, that they are bounded by that bond. Now, something happens where they both know, okay, this child is not ours. Or maybe the mother knows and the husband doesn't know. Either way, the child grows up. Now, he now finds out that my father, that I call father, is not my real father. My question now is, how does he confront his mother? Because there's always an issue, that there's that strain that automatically comes. But do you think he should be able to forgive his mother for whatever it is, understand what decision she took at that time, or say, you know what, you did this, you are this, and he's done? How do you sever a relationship with somebody who you've called mother all your life? Or you call father all your life, and now, because of these circumstances, you're now saying he's not your father? I would like us to discuss that after this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Oh, we actually have a caller. Please go ahead. Go ahead, before we go on the break. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Funke. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Funke from Egbeda.
Go ahead,
Am I
please.
on to your view?
Yes, you are live.
Okay. My husband, I'm the first wife. My husband got married to another person, another wife.
Okay.
So, while the wife came in, my mother-in-law told the first wife that my first child is not my husband. Right now, I'm not greeting my mother-in-law. I've stopped saying greetings. I'm a Muslim. It's not allowed in Islam. But I told my husband that until a DNA test is being conducted on my son, otherwise I will never talk to his mother till I pass on. Because I'm sure I have no skeleton in my cupboard. So why won't I tell him to do a DNA test? I won't be offended though. If my husband does a DNA test, I will not be offended at all. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
So I won't be offended though. If your hands are clean, let him do anything he wants to do.
Okay.
I'm the one that insists that my husband has to
And it's
carry
about your
DNA.
integrity as a woman.
Thank you very much for that.
Integrity means a lot to me.
It means a lot.
It means a lot to me. And that's one of the things that is the problem of Nigeria. We are lacking integrity a lot. From government to whoever, we are all just going without integrity.
Now, the question I was going to go on a break, but I want us to, the issue now is, it has happened. The error has been made. You're now an adult. Do you forgive your parents for this kind of decision?
I don't know.
Let me let you think about it. We'll come back, we'll discuss it. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, yes, before the break, we're talking about the child is grown, and then, so you remember you gave us an example of somebody you knew. Remember that child growing up now. Do you think, how would you advise that person to have a conversation with the mother?
First of all, that person has to go through deep psychological, because that person, the trauma that person has or will have, you discover it's not your father that is your father.
But the child was...
Excuse me, think about it. Think like the person in that position. You discover your father is not your father. First of all, you will first faint. Maybe.
Well, you were cared for, YK. You got the best school. You had a fantastic family. The only issue, the only leg is that
it
consequence
is
of
deception
your
at
mother's
the
waka
highest
waka
level.
is you who will deal with it. We've seen families where at the point when they are sharing inheritance is when they are doing this kind of conversations. That okay, oh yeah, bring tests, bring results for somebody that you've lived with, siblings that you've known all your lives. And there's somebody's bringing out one paper and forcing your mother to answer questions about your person.
There is one big man.
That you take easy.
There is one big man. I don't want to
whether
mention the name here. But when he died, he did DNA for all his children. You know why? Because he had this girl that's one of his wives. And the two are very yellow. One looked like him. So, and every time he would, one day he entered his house secretly and he met the lover that had been living there, because he had been hearing rumors that the lover is staying there. He just entered secretly, it's that boy. He now went and did secret DNA.
You know this person.
You know the story? Me, I didn't know the story.
He did secret DNA for the kids, and they were not his own. That's why all his children, when he died, he said all his children must go to DNA.
It was a rumor, popular rumor back.
I know the person.
Yeah.
I know the person, the father.
Okay, let me take this call. Let me take this call from Chinwe, I think from Bauchi. Chinwe, are you there? Like,
yeah,
your story.
yeah.
Your story
Good
is
morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Thank you, Chinwe, for coming to the show. Go ahead.
Okay. First, doing a DNA test for your children is not really that bad.
Okay.
But the truth is, if there's any problem initially, if there's any reason to do a DNA test, you can do.
Yes.
But if you don't have any problem with your spouse, what's the point? As far you don't suspect this woman, she's not giving you any problem, nothing. If my husband goes behind my back to do a DNA test, when I don't have any issue with him, I'll not be happy. Really, I'll feel betrayed.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if he wants to do a DNA test for any of his children, he should go ahead and do. You understand? There's no skeleton in my cupboard. But
right.
Two adults, we should talk about it. That's if there's no issue. But if there's any issue or any problem, you're suspecting this woman or she's giving you any reason to doubt her, you can go ahead and do. You can go ahead and do your DNA test. And do whatever you...
Thank you very much, Shiri.
I think we should start to pipe on this vexing matter about DNA. The reason is a friend's wife was seen. She has a 2-3-year-old, was seen with the Okada rider. Every morning she calls this Okada rider to take the children to school. And so one day the husband walks into the house after having forgotten something and saw that wife. Immediately, okay, this wife is my wife's friend. He just carried his own children and went to test them. Because if they are working together, they are birds of a feather, that kind of a thing. Sometimes, and fortunately for her own was free, but she was offended. I was like, Auntie, there's a reason. If there's a DNA requirement for a man in any marriage, it's either there's a high, very, very strong level of suspicion, or there was a circumstance surrounding the birth of that child that is worrying the father. It could be anything, but you must calm down to explain it away because you might just lose something good because of it.
Exactly.
That's the one. For the child, now, if your mother does not have a valid reason, because nobody wants to nobody wants to be called a bastard. If she wasn't raped,
right?
If she was raped in front of in her marriage, maybe I decided to keep the pregnancy. That's a valid reason. You cannot kill her for it, and her husband did not kill her for it. Exactly. But you're just waking up one morning and your father's family members start to call you that kind of thing. Let me not use the other word.
So
it's something that will worry anybody.
So at what point does a woman break the news to the child or to the father on the paternity of that child? I mean, that's a lot of women who, for whatever, let's just say it's a way match, just made a mistake.
Delay is dangerous.
Delay, you should do it right there.
Delay is dangerous.
Once you know you're pregnant,
just disclose. And I'm not sure. If I get pregnant and I'm sleeping with two of you, I will go and meet two of you. I'm pregnant too. I don't know I don't know out of two of you. But please, when the child is born, let's do DNA. I will offer it because integrity for me, integrity is paramount. Anything that will, that is why I will not take government position in case I chop money. Because then I would have destroyed everything, my family. Not my father alone, no. My family from day one.
To toe.
Yeah.
There's a way they describe children, like in that circumstances that you've painted. They call them children that belong to the bed of the mother. In that kind of circumstance, just tell the two fathers not to worry. Name your child your name.
It's simple.
Simple. Just respect yourself. It's a matter of respect yourself.
Let me take this final call, then we'll close up on this. Matthew, are you there?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm calling from Kebbi State.
Yes, go ahead. You're live.
All right. First of all, I want to discuss about the first issue, which you discussed earlier. In this modern days, I think it is very uncommon for couples to stay for 1 to 2 years without having pregnancy, and then not knowing who actually is lacking. So, in the first place, there's no how a family will kind of, come up in a situation whereby you said there is no, you don't know where you don't know who is at fault. So at least you should be able to know who is.
Hello? Oh,
I couldn't really understand what he was saying.
I didn't get it properly. Let's take a few tweets before we wrap up, because obviously I like the fact that you've already advised. I quickly disclose. The earlier, the better. Don't delay.
Delay is dangerous.
Okay?
Be Inspired says, the great topic for deliberation today, as I believe in true reality of events, we can't really predict our best actions except when you are wearing the shoes based on perception of views today. But actions of DNA must be agreed by both couples. Matthew Undubisi says, I respond to what YK said. My first son is yellow, while myself and my wife were black. People said all sorts of rubbish, but I trust my wife. My son came and he's even more yellow than the first. Okay, my second son came and he's even more yellow than the first. End of story. That's how God fought my case. So yellow children does not mean that.
So I don't understand.
They don't look like him and his wife. They are both dark skin. But the two children that he had,
I know
so
somebody
yellow.
in my former church.
Maybe up with the tree.
I know somebody in my former church. This woman, if you see her children, they look nothing like her and her husband. They are like very like that, just very yellow, pretty young ladies. And you see the children, and you just keep wondering, wow, even mother and father, they don't look like but we saw the woman pregnant. We saw she got pregnant and we saw that she delivered. So just, these things are genetic sometimes.
You see, sometimes, because maybe there is yellow
somewhere in your lineage.
Somewhere. Because my father was yellow. Me, I'm not usually yellow.
Yes, you are yellow. Okay.
Okay. I know I'm not yellow. If you see my brother is like yellow. Yellow. I'm not really yellow. Like my brother's kids, 2 or 3 are yellow. 2 are dark. Or 3 are dark. 3 are dark, 3 are yellow. But my grandmother was not yellow on my father's side. My grandfather, in fact, I didn't know my grandfather.
All right, we have to wrap up on this, but thank you. I think we can take a few more tweets.
Take these two tweets. This one sounds fun to me. Formsky says, such an action is as a result of lack of trust in marriage. Therefore, people should endeavor to get married to spouses that they trust. As for me, I know that they can never come up from my husband because we actually trust ourselves. And besides, and then this one answers us. Yes, I need her consent. When I need her consent to even wear clothes. This one gave us sarcasm.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. So there's a video making the rounds on social media. Shows the moment a lady rejected her boyfriend's public proposal. In that video, her boyfriend could be seen standing on his knee as he begged her to close her eyes tightly while stretching out the engagement ring towards her. As she opened her eyes, she saw him standing on his feet to propose, and she got offended that he didn't go on his knees to propose to her. Her boyfriend, on the other hand, insisted that kneeling down doesn't prove anything. He turns around, and he turned out all the efforts to make him kneel down, and then she walked out immediately. Watch this clip.
No, don't open it. Don't open it. Don't. Yeah.
understand. Your religion understand.
That doesn't change anything. But I love you now. People are watching.
What is people watching? You are dismissing and embarrassing me. It's not the religion. You're telling me. What are you trying to say?
My,
Go
I really love
on
you.
your knees.
On my knees. Why will I?
Odo, I need that beg.
I don't understand you. You are engaging me. You are standing down. You are telling me. Even your. They are even telling you should kneel down for me.
I really love you. Kneeling down does not show that I love you. I love you, and that is love for you. I have genuine love.
Wait. You mean that I
Please
don't
calm
want
down.
it?
People
Like, I
are
don't
here.
want
People are
it.
watching us.
People are watching. You are discussing. You are telling me people are watching us for what?
I really love you from the depth of my heart. I want to show it. It is not by kneeling down. If I kneel down, this is not love anymore. That is not love. Please, I love you. We have been doing this. We have been in a relationship for more than 5 years, and you should know I really love you.
Ojoa, what doing at all is what doing well. So kneel down
There are people here.
and engage her.
I should kneel down. No, if kneeling down means no. If that is to show that I love her, that is not love. I really love you for all this. If I'm going to take you to church, am I going to kneel down will pastor tell me to kneel down to give you wedding ring? Please accept my love. I have sincere love from inside. That is no embarrassment. I really love you. Please take the ring.
Okay, so thanks for staying with us. So we like this kind of stories. Now, as I said, many of these things online are usually staged, so we know that many of them are not real. We can't confirm if this is real or not, but it's always interesting to see this kind of videos online because it brings to forward different kind of angles to discuss. Now, on this part, and I'm happy that Nima is on the show today, is it culturally acceptable for an African man or a man to kneel to propose? And I think we had an actor, a veteran actor, so a while ago said that he's totally wrong, and Peter Doce was saying it, that it was wrong for an African man to be kneeling to propose. It's not our culture. But obviously, they don't live in Nigeria. From that video, they don't live in Nigeria. So is it? It doesn't look like it's Nigeria, though.
It looks like Europe, yes.
It looks like Europe. But the point is that, can we demand for men to kneel to propose? Let me start with Neil. We know your perspective on
this.
It's
not our culture now. Should be, me, I didn't collect any kneel down. So women are losing focus of what is right. Now we are very, very modernized. Everybody wants to wear white gown. Everybody does, all the Igbo things except what is African. So proper African thing is that if a man is interested in you, he goes to your family, talks to your elders, and that's a proper proposal that is dignifying for an African woman. There's no insult there. But because you are very concerned about what your friends think, you want him to kneel down, do a video that you post on social media. No, that's what is modern now. We're doing what every other person thinks except what is our own style. We've rejected what is our style.
Well, I think we've had a lot of blended cultures over time, and there have been quite a lot of things that we do that are foreign. All of us, how many of us actually, men, how many parents go lie down flat today just to greet somebody? Many will just...
Till date. Okay. Till date at your traditional engagement, your husband will lie down.
Traditional engagement. I'm talking about for every person,
woman.
For every man you see.
That should be the real topic now. That should really be that. Is it that lying down flat? Should we still be lying down flat
in our traditional wedding?
To greet anybody, our elders.
I don't remember the last time anybody. I'm not seeing any man.
Should we?
Kneel, go down flat or kneel down. We've evolved. The point I'm trying to make is that our cultures have evolved over time. And we've actually also had that blend where we take some of theirs and some of ours, and we've had a very, very modern African culture. Now, nobody's saying that you must insist that the man kneels down, but you're in a country where it's the norm, it's acceptable, where it's what everybody does. And now, because you're African, you now want to do otherwise because you're in a different country. And she's saying, listen, we are here now. The right thing for you to do is to kneel down. The same way when you live abroad, they give you chocolates and this for Valentine's. Here, we don't necessarily do that. In fact, talking about that, I just realized that the best hamper, you know how they give us all these gifts for Christmas hampers? I just realized the best hamper, because somebody gave me a hamper for my birthday that had beans, rice, crayfish, gangani hamper.
I'm telling you.
Not all these.
So you know.
But that's a side topic.
Because of rapper, that's somebody now rejects.
When we wanted to do Mariah's 40th, and we were all adding money and buying Talk I think it was said, so we'll put flour. First question.
Yeah, I cannot forget.
What flour is this? Is it the flour to bake? Or what flour? She said, no, Mariah really wants flour. I said, flour? I better go. think well, because that flower is going to be useless to her.
Totally.
So I think that
Totally.
So I think that they were Tokwe and Obiajulu were a bit alarmed at my
your view.
My view. Because so they said, no, Brian really wants flower. I said, okay. When I'm 60, don't give me flower. Let me announce it now.
We will not try.
Don't give me
I actually got
flower.
beautiful flowers. They were actually really nice. But I was,
trust me,
that is the mixture that you are talking about.
Yes.
But what is African is African. What is foreign is
So is it
foreign.
wrong for that man to not kneel down? Waike?
There's nothing wrong.
Wait, I'm talking to Waike at this point.
Sorry.
Do you think it was wrong for him not to kneel down?
You see, he decided to propose in the Oyibo way.
Yes. So do it the right way.
So if you want to propose in the Oyibo way, surprise her, well, he could have knelt down. Yes. But that girl is not ready to marry. If she was ready to marry, she will not be asking him to kneel down.
Collect the ring and move.
Collect the ring. When they enter the house, they need that for me. She's not ready. That's
only who is ready.
Yes,
Okay.
So the proper thing now, as Africans, he wants to marry you, babe, will marry you. Babe say agree. Okay, I'll come and see your people come and see my people. That's African, that's a proposal. But we have turned that to something else entirely. We are dating and looking for the picture. I remember back in school, this is my friend. She was engaged to be married. She already knew she was going to get married. They've been dating. And then she wanted the works. So the guy put up the works. They went to get one hotel. All his friends were there. They wore a shirt and they all turned we know say they go marry. We were expecting. In fact, I was asking her later that. So after this proposal, what if he didn't marry you? He said, Kotobe. I said, but you wanted the drama. People want that drama, and that's looking for the superficial thing.
It's fun. You see, listen. I hear you. I hear the culture part.
The real deal that leads to marriage for a serious-minded person is what you should be looking out for. You see the whole buy my ring, cut a cake and all those things. That's not the real deal. So some people, they will do that engagement for you, put a ring on you, and 10 years after we have not done wedding. We are still waiting for the party. The money that they spend for that one is enough to do engagement. Mele go and girl engagement. How many is engagement?
But I think as Waike has said, if you choose to marry and if you choose to propose. Me, I didn't have the Oyinbo proposal. In fact, it was just like, are you ready? Let's go.
That's the African thing.
That is our own, but it doesn't have to be like that. I would have loved to have a romantic proposal. I would have loved to have a nice, flowery...
Maybe you will be divorced by now.
No.
Because they would have
you must respect a woman's emotional needs. If that's what she desires, I think there's nothing wrong in you giving it to her.
We were in the sitting room, my sitting room one day, my cousin and myself and one Oyinbo man. We were plenty, but one Oyinbo man was in our midst. And they brought flower and they were saying a flower for this. And my cousin said, nobody should bring flower for me. Me, I need tire for my car. The Oyinbo man was alarmed. What? Tires? Yeah, so my car, all my tires are. Don't bring any. Bring tires, please. Oh my God! What's wrong with this African woman? The Oyinbo was saying, what's wrong with this African women? She wants tires. That is the
let me tell you
necessity.
Let me tell you how our fathers showed love.
I will get fat.
Our mothers in those days. Is this when they come from their journey, when they travel for work and they are coming back, they would buy wrappers. I used to see my aunties and my mom folding wrapper every day. It's the wrapper that they have used to declare love for them. If they fight, they settle in the morning, it's wrapper. Land this. You'll be folding it. What
I don't want us to discredit.
Look at our traditional marriage.
We are not discrediting it.
I don't want us to discredit proposals.
The impracticability
romantic
of it sometimes.
proposals.
No. So when we we're not discrediting it. If it works for you, fine. But the impracticability of it sometimes, and you're emphasizing that that's what you must get.
Excuse me, our traditional marriages, what do we give? Is there flour inside the...
No, there's yam, there's goat, everything.
It's the thing that you need now.
Let me take this call from Olasukomi. Thanks for calling. Are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry for keeping you that long. Please try to call him back. It's really nice to hear his views on this. But you see, listen, let's go back to...
Please tell me all the things inside gauge.
Inside what?
Gauge.
What's gauge?
The gauge, the traditional marriage, the gauge.
Oh, the
material.
The materials, there's yam, there's atare, there is palm oil, I think.
Bitter cola.
There is bitter cola.
Bitter cola is against cocoa.
There's a lot of stuff, fruits, lots of fruits, whole lots of fruits.
Necessary things.
But the thing,
things that the human being needs.
Well, nobody's objecting that. But the point I'm trying to make is that for a young woman to say, listen, this, for me now, I mean, maybe I'm not the right person to have this conversation because I've always said before that I love, when I was single, I used to like to go out. It was my brother's wife, and this, once she gets her paycheck, that every 2-week paycheck, the first thing she comes to me, let's go. We're going to either Red Lobsters, we're going to one Applebee's, we're going, always finding one restaurant to go because she loved to eat. And she kind of exposed me to that culture. So even when I moved back home, every month I'll call my friend, Timmy Onoboluya, Timmy, where are you? Let's meet at this restaurant. I love to eat, I love to dine, I love the entire ambience of a nice restaurant. Me too. But when I now finally met my husband, this is other recipe. First time I went to a restaurant, it's like, so this food now is 20K. So he's like, sure this thing you can cook it in the house now. So he was like, we can't continue at this level because we're just building. We can't be spending 20,000 naira for one meal. It doesn't make any sense.
No, he was being realistic. It's not that he doesn't want to go and eat outside. So, but he could not, excuse me, he couldn't go and afford to go and eat outside. That was the real issue.
But this was something, it was not that I liked.
I'm telling you, when your husband is
like
a millionaire,
it's not practical.
He will take you out to eat.
You will eat tired.
In fact, he will fly you by private jet to Dubai or London.
He has even overdone it. To me, he brought a Japanese food to my house to come and do birthday. So that he has overdone it. Let me take Ade. Ade, are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, what I want to say is that regarding the DNA for takeover.
Yes.
That depends. What if the woman gave birth in general hospital, and one thing or the other, the baby was exchanged,
swapped,
and the woman didn't know, and she took the baby home, and the husband trusts her, she trusts her husband. 5 years later, they do DNA. It's not the father. What do you think about that? So people should not judge about this DNA thing. It depends. You know, if you have the money and you give birth in a private hospital, yes, that would be fine.
Thank you, Ade.
Like South Africa.
Thank you, Ade. I heard that happen in the 80s a lot.
That's why reputable DNA centers, if you go there with only the child, you father, they will tell you have to bring the mother. Because there have been times when wrong babies have been given. So this one I was telling you about, when I said, no, you have to ask the mother, let me take you to this reputable. And they told him immediately, come with the mother. The two of you have to do the test together.
But I heard in the 80s, it happened a lot that people were just swapping babies anyhow. Not even I can't confirm it.
It is even wrong to assume it's a general hospital. It happened a lot too in some private hospitals. Yes, it did happen. So but now, you have a lazy nurse or a tired nurse sometimes who has overworked herself in the night and delivering babies. It could happen.
Interesting.
That's why it's always good to open your eyes.
So to close, open your eyes, though. My brother did it when one of his kids were born. It looks as if they want to bring the wrong baby to me. You know, he actually saw it. And
same thing, my husband. From the moment I delivered his child, to the child who came home, he was monitoring like this. His eyes were like this. While they were cleaning the baby, he was there. Soldier. He followed them to the nursery.
My mom said about her last child that, you know, as she gave birth, she looked at the child. Although she wanted a boy, because she had just one boy at the time. She looked at the child very well, and the nurse went with the child and brought a boy to her.
What?
She said, no, and a girl I born. I see him. Because it's important to open your eyes. The woman was tired, and the woman beside her wanted the girl. They had swapped both. My mom said, I beg, now a girl like born. If you see their papa, you will know. And truly, we all look like, almost like my dad. Almost all of us look like my dad. The moment my father came that morning, the nurse was apologizing to my mom not to disclose what happened. Imagine that. Because mainly seeing the
So it could have been something that happened without the mother knowing or father knowing. So
that's why reputable firms. So when you take your child secretly, that thing might not be reputable. That center might not be a reputable.
So, but see, it's just like we have to go back to this topic because now, if it happened that your child was swapped, you did not know, and that child grew up, and at some point there was a paternity test, the husband now confronts you, and you're like, I have no idea. I'm innocent.
You tell your truth. You tell it honorably.
The two of you,
when you're not doubting yourself, you know what happened. You will tell your truth. You will insist, I did not do it.
No, then you take the two of you will go, and then maybe you two will not. So that's you still have integrity because you know you didn't sleep with anybody.
You didn't do away match.
Yes, you didn't do. Is it away match they call it?
It's away match now. Okay, let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there? You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Yeah, my name is Kaduri.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
I know, Maria. Good morning, Lima and Co.
Yes.
Concerning the issue that you guys are discussing about, let me just assume that the stage is not real.
Right.
Because in the real sense, if you listen to the guy, there was a question the guy asked the girl. He says, am I going to need to give you my wedding ring on the day of our wedding? So the question is, the engagement ring and the wedding ring, which one is more important?
Abi?
That's what we should ask ourselves.
Okay,
so if a lady that is ready for marriage, a lady that really wants to be in her husband's house, will not consider the mode of engagement. Our focus should be how will the wedding proceed. That is the most important thing. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
That's what Nima has said earlier. That if you want...
Rotiwa Onibodu says, Morayos, see, this kneeling down thing na scam. I was proposed to at Sheraton Hotels. He knelt down with flowers and all. We got married, but the marriage did not last 3 months. We got divorced. Let's do things the African way.
This story, the people who know I'm talking about them. Back in school, this couple were dating. Every time there's a fight, there's this Eyo statue in front of at the roundabout in Last Sudan. That's where this guy will go and kneel down. Oh, they can't forgive me. But when he gets back home into the marriage, the beating later in the marriage, I couldn't just phantom me that this guy was supposed to be extremely in love with you, okay? How can he be slapping you left, right, and center by? But that was, and whenever he wants to beg too, he will go on his knees. He will call his ancestors. They will come and beg. See, kneeling is not, look for the right thing. Open your eyes when you are, because most of the time, all of us who witnessed that kneeling that time, that she was saying, hey, you know, Shebi, see, he loves me. All of us, we don't move on. Yes. It's many hard, the guy.
Collecting serious slap. Phone.
Let me take this call. Jennifer, are you there?
Hey, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I've been following you guys since 2014, and I've been trying to reach you all as well.
Wow. Thank God.
Wow.
I speak with Mariah this morning. Sorry, Auntie. I can't remember her name again. God, please, I speak with all what you said, because honestly, almost all of us that have this fantasy of kneeling down, proposing, is a normal thing now. It's something you long for on a good day. But at the end of the day, most married women today, we didn't get that. So we end up the African way.
Yeah.
All she would have done was just for her to yield with whatever meat he wanted to. Then afterwards, she will still scold him. That's just it. Because in this life, you cannot always get what you want.
Exactly.
That's my own contribution.
Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Let's
take a few more tweets.
Annie B says, if you want to copy the white, do it right. Don't do your own remix. If you want to do a traditional way, do just that.
Exactly.
Nobleman says, you will live long in your father's house. Continue. JY says,
Because that one, she's going to her father's house to go and sit down because she has rejected the ring. They put her on video. Nobody will come and propose again.
I'm telling you, JY says, need that to get you caged with a ring, Abi. Maltreat you and say, I love you, Abi. Or marriage, funny. Abbas says, both of them are funny. Annie says again, after dating for 5 years, the man should have known that what she wanted, plus engaging is not our tradition. Our traditional way is for
you
the
guys,
man's
you always pick the right times or the convenient time to be African. Oh, we're Africans, we don't do this. But you don't remember you're African when you are in our circumstances. So the point is that there are people I know who had beautiful foreign proposals and they're happily married today. They're happy.
I can't even remember how
lot
was
of them
proposed to me. I can't remember.
But I know that.
I've been sitting there racking my brain. How did he?
I remember
my own with all the proper proposal, but I know that I think it was my brother's wife. She wanted, it wasn't a proposal, but it was during their wedding day. She insisted that it had to be a helicopter that take them from the church to the reception. Oh my God, the whole family had to get involved. Wait, here? Helicopter long. And she had this she was born and raised in Italy. She has this very from the Italian foreign mentality. The whole family had a meeting. She insisted, wait, it has to be. Wait, that's what she wants. And at the end of the day, we all had to accept. Was prayer and fasting. From the moment that helicopter lifted from the church, Jesus Christ, everybody was scabashing till they landed in the reception and my mother saw them entering. Because
can I ask, did the helicopter not carry them to their house?
No, of course not. But she had just
you see all that fertility, spend money for nothing. These are the things I'm saying.
But the point I was trying to make is that when your spouse or the woman you are in a relationship with wants something like that, it's just different. That is uniquely both of you. Allow it. Allow that moment. Allow the beauty of the moment to come.
When my partner gave me the ring when I was 55? Do you remember that?
Yes.
When you all did surprise party for me? Yes. Remember, I didn't know.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh.
You're acting funny, yeah.
You know, I was fighting him later. No, it was surprise.
It was such an anticlimax because you should have. YK just totally did. You went off the way your response was not very romantic. It was not like
African
what is this? You're acting like an African woman. Then it was wrong.
She said it was wrong.
You're looking for Rapper.
She said it was wrong. Can you imagine?
You should have said, "Oh," and hugged Uncle Theo. You didn't.
I do that?
Did you? I don't remember you doing that too.
Did I not do that? But you know,
I can't remember.
You were not there.
Just pregnant.
We have to run, unfortunately.
No, even if I didn't do it, all of you did it for me.
But I have to wrap up. But I'd like to wrap up on this.
There?
Yes. We have to run. We have to run. Yes. But one thing I like us to do, like, yes, that guy should have knelt down because that's the proposal his wife wanted. But I also agree that we have an African way of doing things, and if that's the approach the man takes, accept it wholeheartedly. If it doesn't, hey, auntie, we're ready, let's go and see your parents. That one, take it. If you like the romantic and they give you praise chicken, now everything is fine. Let's not discredit anyway.
You like just say it
now.
Have to go. Say it before you go. I like romance. Kneel down for me.
Have a wonderful day.
Say it now.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.